Okay, we're here, we'll open this February 21st, 2023 Board of Health meeting. We are being audio and videotaped for the record. We'll go right directly to our correspondence. A letter from community nurse.
Well, we still get a lot of COVID-19 going around, huh?
Yeah. What
that people turn in.
Yeah.
All right.
Motion to place on file.
Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
So voted. Next is a letter from Mr. Kelly, Town Administrator, regarding the town meeting, May 22nd. Deadline for articles is March 24th. Get a motion.
We don't have any articles, right?
No.
Motion to place on file.
Second?
All in favor?
Yep.
Aye.
So voted. A letter from the tobacco compliance, that's regarding that violation. Town Liquors, they're looking to postpone, and they want to have a hearing, requested a hearing, and that's gonna be in March at the next meeting. We'll get that on motion to file.
Can we keep it on the agenda?
Keep it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Yeah, once you guys have, once you set the date,
Yep.
we'll let her know.
Okay. Make a motion to keep it for the next meeting.
Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Set up a date
Voted.
for the next meeting, right?
Well, yeah, when we set the date.
Okay.
I want to go to the plans. So what I did was, I have 33 Beach Street A, that's number 1. 3 is 16 Rainy Street. 6 is 43 Reservoir Road. 16 Gammons Road is 7, and Laura Keene Ave, 8. Can we get a motion? Those were all pretty much all set. I reviewed them, I think Dave and you guys did. Get a motion.
Motion to accept plan as read.
numbers one more time?
So it would be number 1,
1,
okay? 3,
3.
There it is.
6, 7, and 8. Those are all
Okay,
set.
I'll make a motion to approve
With
33 Beach Street,
with the-
16, so 33 Beach Street with variances as outlined, 16 Rainy Street, which has no variances, 43 Reservoir Road, no variances required, 16 Gammons Road with variances as requested, and Laura Keene Ave, 53 Laura Keene Ave, no variances.
Get a motion. Second?
Do we want to make a motion to accept these variances first, David?
I did it all at once.
Yeah.
I said the plan and the variances for
Okay,
everyone
right,
that
right.
required variance.
Okay.
That's the motion.
Motion to accept plan as read.
I already motioned.
1,
Second. I need a
3,
second.
6, 7, and 8.
Yep, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So voted. All right, so the other one we wanted to discuss was 87 Peckham Road.
We said Peckham Road, I believe the engineer is here for that. Yep.
Mr. Motta?
This guy, Peckham Road, he's been trying to hook up to that sewer line for years and years. He died. I don't know why his name is still on there. Oh, I don't spiders in this freaking place.
When you walk in.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the record, my name's Ken Motta, Senior Project Manager at Field Engineering here representing Kathy Tavaz. We're here tonight for a approval of a septic replacement plan to replace an existing failed system at 87 Peckham Road. I don't know if the board is familiar with the overall conditions of the site here, but there are, I mean, aside from some of the constructability issues that the contractor's going to have in here, one of the things we looked at when in designing the system, we looked at alternatives. We looked at one alternative being that there's the school force main that passes right in front of, everybody's familiar with the history of the school force main, so we pretty much ruled that alternative out altogether.
That's the best alternative.
Yes, it would be, in a perfect world it would be, but I mean the circumstances around it, our connection is just not available to, to the
That's
to the
pretty
town
tough
system.
ground in there.
Huh?
That's tough ground in there.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think this would be his third septic in there.
yeah. I don't know about the third, we did pull the record plans on the existing system. The existing system consists of 2 leaching pits that's at the back of the house there that are clear. They're in the water table. I mean, it's a failed system. The second alternative we looked at was a run down to Blueberry Drive and doing a low pressure line all the way down to, now that's about 1,500 linear feet, and that's at a running cost that could be $100,000 all day long. That would cause a substantial financial hardship to the property owner, but for obvious reasons. So in looking at this area, we did do 2 confirmed test holes that you see within the footprint of where the septic system is. We also have we had record test pits that were done back in 1999, which I can share with you.
When that fellow was living years ago, he wanted to run that line all the way up down
Yeah.
Peckham Road,
Yeah,
and they told him it wasn't feasible for him.
yeah.
But it was cheaper then.
Well, yeah. It's
Today,
really not, yeah.
today skyrocketed in price for oil.
Yeah. So in citing the location of the system, I mean, we looked at the previous test bits that were done by GF Engineering back in 1999. The 2 tests that they have in failed areas, one was pretty close to where the existing leaching field is, and the other one was just to the side of the house where you see here. So we intentionally tried to keep the footprint of the system within the confirmed soils areas for obvious reasons, since we are certifying it to the functionality of this system. So that kind of boxed us in a corner here where you see the septic system here, where we kept where we have unsuitable areas to the east of where the septic system is. And in that memo that I just shared with you, they did do a test in the front of the house at that time, and it was determined that soils were unsuitable in the front. So that left us, the only reasonable alternative was to site the system where you see it here. Now, we are asking for a waiver on the offset distance between the septic field and the adjacent wetland area here, which incidentally has been approved by the Conservation Commission, and we have gone before them already. They're just waiting. They're just waiting to queue off what this board decides tonight. So we are in receipt of the comments by Joe. And I think in your files you should have the response memo to those comments.
Yes.
Okay. So we were able to squeeze out, just barely etch out between the area of unsuitable soils here and the proximity to the wetlands. So we pretty much maximized the separation between the leaching field and the boundary of the bordering vegetated wetlands, like 30 feet. That's the best we're going to do here, given the given the physical site constraints that we have.
The information you gave us, Ken, shows 2 test pits in the backyard,
Yep.
and there's a note, it says suggests exploration in front yard in the future. And so I'm just wondering, you got an area.
It says that they had done a test. If you look at the memo on the first sheet, that they had done a test in the front, and it failed.
But nobody's ever done a sieve analysis of the front yard. I mean, it doesn't say why it failed. I guess I'm having trouble, Ken. There's this huge area to the left of the house that's outside the buffer zone. I just don't view the 50-foot setback as a by right for repair, that you can make the 50, you should make the 50. So I don't know, I wasn't, you know, the system's 32.7 feet off the house. It really should be 15 feet off the house if it takes that to make it 50. Maybe it should be longer if you need more distance off the house.
Problem is we need 15 feet to allow for a slope grading. And one of the problems that we have in pulling it that close to that side of the house is basically you're gonna have a 3-to-1 slope. That's gonna, that's basically gonna direct more water right up against the foundation of the house.
You could put a retaining wall around the overdig though. I just look at all that area that's available. I'm not seeing the set. No, I've always looked at it as, well, my understanding is you gotta hold 50 feet from every well. Then the second thing you do is make sure you're 50 feet from wetlands. Groundwater is the one variance that seems to be the gimme for everybody. But the wetland setback, I don't know, I have issues with it. I see the room, I don't quite buy the argument that it can't be done.
They said, didn't they state on that they did do tests in the front?
Well, it says it failed, what does that mean?
They
Remember for the longest
abandoned
time,
them, so
for the longest
say
time
why
you
they
had
abandoned
a perk rate requirement of no, you didn't accept anything longer than, what, 1 in 20 or something?
20?
used to
1 in
be
20?
20, yeah.
Right, and then we moved it up to 1 in 30, and then we ultimately allow up to 1 in 60, but you gotta use alternative.
Yeah,
So I don't know, is that what that means? Was it too wet? Because when it's not too wet, you do a sieve.
it doesn't say, I mean, it's not.
It doesn't, and it doesn't say where it was in the front.
Yeah.
That's a,
Is there any other record on that? Do you have any other
We couldn't
record
find, we couldn't find any other records on,
regarding that
yeah,
front portion?
I know
Why
that
it
property
failed?
has really, really poor soils in it.
it does.
You know, there's
does.
there's a lot of, mostly all till in there, you go
Yep.
down, and the water just can't go through that property. I know this whole property, you know, and,
it looks like the backyard was filled. The fill and A and B all mixed up, but
yeah, but it's mixed up.
yeah,
It was filled in.
there was some fill.
The thing is, with that piece of property, you know, the man tried putting the sewer line in, and his intentions were, when they put the sewer line in for the school, his intentions was tying into that line.
That's what everybody.
And then we had 75 houses we wanted to tie in over there, and the next thing you know, the line goes in, it's a designated line just for the school.
Yeah.
We fought that when it.
We fought it, we wanted to go through, and they said no, and then I wanted to take the school line and run it down Middle Road, down to the power lines, and then all those houses up there, that's up to, could go down there and pump it up through New Bedford.
Mm.
And I got permission from John Koska to go through his property if it went through,
Yeah.
they didn't want it. They would've had 500 houses tie-in, would've cost the town this,
Mm-hmm.
they wouldn't accept it.
Yeah.
They wanted
So
to
you-
go
Yeah,
pet.
well,
Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you?
In front yard. in the
But this
future
property here,
on that
Yeah, that's
road.
what I
it's
saw.
pretty wet.
Oh,
And the soils
Front
in
sheet
that
says that.
property, you go down a few feet and
It's right there.
you're in tilt.
It's right there. I mean, you're in, you know, you got wetlands on two sides of this lot here.
Is this the perk that was in the front?
I mean, I
No.
did soils with the feds.
I didn't even know.
I used to work with them.
Regardless,
And,
I mean,
I know
I'm
my
sure it's
soil's pretty
exactly
good.
the same
Yeah.
as what we did
Worked with
back
them for
here.
15 years.
Wet.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
Maybe we go-
I don't even know how long this system will last.
Probably
Wow.
some serious issues up in here.
That's why, that's why we're leery about moving it, moving it anywhere within the areas that failed the test
He's got a
based on
big piece of,
the
they got a big
1990.
piece of property there,
Yeah.
but, I don't think the soil's gonna change that off much of this piece of property. Because I know his driveway goes up into here, the house is here, and all in through here's all those apple trees and beech
Mhm.
trees and all
Yeah.
that. I don't know if they're still there.
Oh, yeah?
And then he has a big swimming pool over here somewhere in here.
That's on the, that's on the east side.
Yeah. I don't know what to say. It's a tough situation because the guy had to pump this out all the time,
For obvious reasons, I mean, the test pits were, the test pits were in groundwater.
I mean, it's from my feeling, the soil's probably, like Bob said, the same anywhere on the site. From what I saw when we were out there doing the soil evaluation, from what I've seen everywhere on this road, on the soil evaluations that we did. I'm sure some of these lots were underwater when they first got started.
I'll buy that.
And so, I mean,
Yeah.
People buy it in good faith and then next thing you know, you're having a problem like this. This is gonna be the third system going in there. The original, and then he did another one, then this other one coming in. So this is the
That's
third one.
ridiculous.
Do you know where those systems were?
Basically around the same areas,
All, they were all in the back, or were there any,
in the back,
they were all in the back?
nothing in the front.
So when the soil eval was done in '99, was the system approved? Like, 'cause this was done in '99.
No, because he left a note. What did he do?
I think-
He left a note is the only thing that
I
was.
think what happened is this was sold around that time, or something about that, because there was an agreement, as there was on other lots, at some particular.
Well, they had
No.
an escrow account when they bought that house
That's right.
to fix
That's
the
right.
septic.
That's right.
I gotta go back.
Yeah, no, Bob, you're absolutely right. And,
20 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the failed system was 20 years ago. This
So the
is,
mine's been sitting in escrow for 20 years?
Must have been, man, must be.
Yeah.
it is.
Because he wanted to run up Peckham Road and tie in, because all those houses in there, I talked to all the people up in there, and they were all willing to go. That's why we says, well, if we're gonna have this designated area,
Mhm.
now these people are gonna be stuck with bad systems in their backyard, Is the property worth anything? When you got a bad system like that, you keep doing it over and over. Is it
Mhm.
worth it? Brings the valuation of the house down.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Whatever anybody else's opinions are. But, Dave knows more about this than what we do. This is what he does for a living.
Mhm.
And, whatever Dave would recommend doing in here, I would go with it because there's no alternative. You gotta do something for these people.
Mhm.
You can't just let them hang.
This has been held up forever.
I don't think
But
it's
the
been
money that they
held
had-
up. They
but
just
the money-
they just decided not to tie in, because at that time they were approved to tie in.
That's right.
And over time, over the past 20 years, that sewer, that force main that's there has been determined by our engineers that it's not, we cannot tie into it in any
Right,
way, shape, or
yeah.
form.
They closed the door on that,
Right.
on that option after,
I think it's
after
the
that.
pumps. No, I think it's the pumps at the school.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they said the pumps at the school weren't strong enough to push.
Yeah,
But in
Yeah.
the summertime, the pumps ain't pumping, so, the kids are not in school.
yeah,
So, it could be just stagnant stuff in that main line,
yeah.
good-sized line.
But they already closed it.
Oh,
up.
right, I remember when they put that line in.
Yeah, it's pretty
Because we tried fighting it, the board here, we wanted
It's a
it,
shame they can't
the
tie
people
it.
to tie, but
I know.
was it designated monies. But when they had that in escrow account years ago, Joe,
We went to town meeting when
Yeah.
that happened.
yep, when they had the money in escrow account, that's when the septic systems, sand you could buy for $5-6 a ton.
Yeah.
Now you're like $18, $22 a ton. It makes a big difference,
Oh, yeah.
So that little bit of escrow that they have in the
We
account
could've-
is worthless, really.
Mhm.
They won't even pay for the tank and stone. It's a tough situation. I like to help the people if possible. It's up to the board, whatever. If David, do you have any suggestions on this system?
I just think it can be greater than 30 feet from the wetlands. I just think that it's just not there for me to feel comfortable with it. But if you guys want to go for it, go ahead. I'm not stopping you.
I mean, if
I won't-
if you're
I
not
won't
really
take any offense
comfortable
to
on
it.
something, I mean, you
I
know,
just have to-
like to see a good,
can we jockey it down a little bit further this way?
We could probably get, and again, just, to be honest, I'm leery about the location of the failed test that was shown on the 1999 soil logs here, and where that test location falls in relationship to where the field is. Now, we're not, where the field is right now, we're not exactly on top of that location, but I mean, so we could probably shift it maybe another 5 or 6 feet closer, closer to the street, without getting into grading conflicts with the, again, with the foundation and everything else. I would not recommend a waiver on the groundwater separation in this case, and we're not asking for that waiver. We are making a situation better than obviously than what it is now. We've done everything I think we can incorporate it into design to somewhat ensure some sort of longevity with the system. And hopefully this is the last system that we have to put in here. Yeah, I know, Bob. But I think we've got the best fit here. But we can look at it, possibly shifting it maybe like another 5 or 6 feet before I get away from, really start getting away from the confirmed test locations that we have in the back there.
Where was the test hole in there?
Shows it in front of that.
These are the two confirmed holes here.
Yeah.
Now, the ones that are shown on that sketch plan puts that test hole like somewhere in this area over here. I have it shown on my plan here.
See, my eyes are not too good, so.
Oh, that's okay.
That's why I'm having.
But I mean, that would be my best guess, translating the information that's on that sketch plan as to where that unsuitable
Yeah.
soil test pit is, and this one here. And these are the existing pits here. So we could possibly move it maybe another 5 or 6 feet this way here without running into grading conflicts with the, again, with the foundation, and still keeping the majority of the footprint within the confirmed soil zones.
Would that be all right with you, Dave?
The more the better,
Yeah, I know that.
as much as we can pull it.
I mean,
yeah.
Because a lot of that, the line work there is grading, so when I think you could go another 10 feet, but that's, I know it might make Ken uncomfortable, but
10 feet. That's only a few more feet.
Go 5 feet.
What do you think? Can we stretch it a little bit?
Again, we're
I mean, it's on paper.
we're certifying
it's on paper,
this.
so I
We're
mean-
certifying this system, and I can certainly respect what the board has said. What the board has said. The board's concerns here. I'm very leery, given the nature of the soils out there, of moving this thing too farther outside of the confirmed soil zones that are on this plan. If we get 70% of the system that's within the confirmed area, I'm comfortable with that. If we start pushing this thing another 10 feet over, then I've got better than half of the system that's outside of the confirmed area. That's problematic for us as the engineers. I mean, I can max it out. I can max it out at like 5, another 5 or 6 feet.
I
But
will say
that-
this, it's unusual to have, it's almost like you got a wetland on one side, but you got wetland soils on the other side. And the test pits show a better position in the middle.
Yeah.
He says he can move that, what, 5, 6 feet?
Yeah.
That'll help out
Yeah,
some.
so 2 lots.
I mean,
It's like
in
Yeah.
their
no
part,
lots is after.
in your part,
Yeah.
it's still gonna work
Yeah.
properly for them
Yeah.
within.
I think we'd be comfortable with that, to be honest with you. I mean, and any more than that, Bob, I'm really leery given what I know of the soils out there.
Oh, I know them
And the
soils
fact,
too.
you know.
I think if they make an effort to move it to 5 feet, that makes more sense,
Yeah.
you know?
I have no problem with that.
Agree with that?
I would think. We'd like to see a little bit more, but like you say,
Yeah.
the soils out there are really crappy.
I know.
You know,
I get what you're saying. I'm looking at this.
we gotta
test
help
bed,
out the
it's-
people somehow.
It's silty loam. I mean,
It's a shit.
I've swung in the direction of approval.
I mean, this,
All right,
You wanna mention?
I make a motion to accept the plan within moving that system about 5 feet.
About 5 feet.
And hopefully everything will work for them.
I'll second that motion with a caveat that when they submit a revised plan, Joe can just sign the
All
plan.
right,
all in favor?
Aye.
So voted.
so submit another plan with that, moving it off.
That's fine.
And Joe will sign off on it.
We'll take care of it. Thank you,
We've seen
guys.
it already. Thank you.
Thanks.
You want these back? Give me one for future reference.
I'm gonna keep one for the file.
He's gonna keep
Joe's
one for
gonna
file.
get it.
Recycle.
Will cost money for paper.
Sign all this way. All right. Thank you, Mr. Moore.
Yep.
The other one that we needed to discuss was 39 Keene Road.
Okay, so 39 Keene Road, I'm gonna give you this. Did a quick little printout earlier, and having a conversation with our new building commissioner. What happened was the lot, and I can certainly show you the plan, but there's 2 lots that were held in common ownership. All right, the big lot that's in blue that's surrounded, and then the little lot, which is actually 39. The plan, as it's shown right now, has a 50-foot setback to the well. And they own all the rest of the land that's behind it. Once the determination has been made by the building commissioner, and I believe he said that he even had a conversation with the owner.
The last landlord without that piece.
Yes.
Okay.
So, I mean, the truth is that they can get 100 feet away from the septic system when they redesign it. Whereas, as it stands right now, what they're doing is they're showing it on the existing lot that's there that doesn't, because the zoning changed. So, originally, the lots were 30,000 square feet in Acushnet, and then the zoning changed to 60,000 square feet. When they changed to 60,000 square feet, they still own the land that was behind here, right here.
So we have enough room in there to do what we have to do then.
Yeah, and because, I mean, that lot line as you see it here, essentially in the town side, does not exist.
So this is owned by Guerrero Realty Trust?
Yep.
Okay. So that would make this would disappear.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. So,
Well, I mean, I'm looking to get,
so
you know,
this could have been over here. We don't have to move the well,
no,
but this could be over here and not
Yes.
50 feet.
exactly.
Okay.
That'll work.
Well, now that I've learned that, you know, I can't honestly say that something different can't be done.
Right.
If they want the system where they want it, then the well's gotta go
Yeah,
back here.
then the well would move.
So
Now, is that
they
an
can move
artesian
this
well they
here.
got or
Yeah,
just a
because this
shallow
land
well?
really doesn't exist.
Joe,
By-
that well, is
It's
that
combined.
artesian or is that a
Suggest
shallow
move
well?
the system. That would keep them.
Hand dug well or artesian?
I'm
Yeah.
not sure, Bob.
It's all
Deep?
good material.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I'm not sure.
Oh,
I think
maybe
it's
not. Design
deep.
rate 30 minutes per inch.
Because the water's,
I thought that was all.
plenty of water on it.
Yeah, and they
Not going
grow
too
over
deep.
there.
26.
No, I'm not 100%. This is an old house, so it could be.
Could be a hand dug.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's
a
the
really
problem.
old house. So the perk wasn't so good, huh?
No.
It's odd.
Yep.
Isn't this area just a sand and gravel?
It usually is.
Yeah, that's what.
Maybe they get better material back there.
Yeah, it's quite a big piece too.
So we're gonna suggest we move that there?
Yeah, they have to, they
Either
have to
that,
go out
if they
there.
keep
and
it
re-
there, they're gonna have to move the well down the other end.
So this was originally done under a different owner, the repair park. And then the lot sold, all of the lot sold. And then we got the information submitted to us.
So somebody new owns it, but they own everything.
Yeah, it was always, all of it was sold.
Okay.
They owned it originally too. That was me well,
So if that
Finding out about
septic
this
stays
later.
there, they're gonna have to move that well down to the other end.
yeah, and realistically,
Because they're only, what, 50?
they're gonna have to fix the septic system and make a determination on really what they wanna do, because they have a large piece of land there, and they can't get past the house in order to build out the piece of property in the back, even if they wanted to do that. So, I mean, they can't do a retreat lot, they can't do anything without dealing with that house. And it's an older house, it's still a house, but,
They could get multiple retreat lots, yeah. But that would have to be demoed, because they only got 150 for frontage.
so I don't know, just again, from a Board of Health standpoint, there's a lot more to look at, I guess, than just saying, this is approvable and put this in when we, rightfully, it's been brought to my attention that they own all of it.
Yeah, I follow you. Yeah,
I would say
we have to,
reject this.
motion to deny the plan due to the well setback being less than 100 feet when there's more land available. We have to act on it. We have to
Yeah,
do
they're only 59 feet, Dave, so,
They have options.
they have an option back there, not, regulations, what, 100 feet
Mhm.
in the circle?
Well, it's,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
if you don't have the room, you do
Yeah.
50,
Yeah.
but
But they got plenty
They
of
have
room.
plenty of room.
Okay, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Yeah.
aye.
So voted. The other one is 31 Lisa Avenue, and we have to make a motion that we accept that plan specified.
I'm gonna have to renege on that one.
Yeah, I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
So voted. Bob abstaining from that. I'll make a note on that. Wanda?
My daughter's property.
There's one more plan
Where's the other one?
tacked on.
Is that Lisa Avenue all set? So I can
Yeah,
mark it on the-
352?
Yeah. Yep, that one, the engineer has requested, after a discussion with him, looked into an alternative, which is gonna be a bottomless sand filter, and is asked to redesign it and be on to the next meeting, so.
Okay,
So,
Should we take up the tight tank issue now?
In conversation with him, I specifically said that, to make his repair and that he could come in, and talk about it next meeting, if it's even there. So, I mean, I don't know what the new plan's gonna be 100%. I just know that he's gonna redesign it to the bottom of the sand filter, which he sent a sketch in today showing that it would fit better.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's the sketch.
that was just his initial sketch to realize that it would work better.
50 feet from walls.
Yep.
He gets the credit for the size,
Yep.
and he can actually be 2 feet from water table if he wants
So ultimately,
to. That works.
Yep.
But I don't know about the tight tank. I'm not convinced that's a good thing to leave it in place.
We've,
I don't know if you guys want to hash it out now, because he's intent on.
I would rather wait till he submits
Okay.
whatever.
Good enough.
So we just put that one on hold, motion,
well, yeah, I mean, you could technically
just table it to the
deny
next
this
meeting.
plan or table it
Yeah,
to
we
the
gotta
next
take
meeting.
action.
That's it.
all
well, is
the-
there a tight tank there now,
Just
right?
make a motion to
Yeah.
table 352 Main Street. It's a
If we-
system, and to the next meeting.
If we do that, though, do we run any risk of an automatic approval?
What's
If
that?
he's gonna submit a new design, I'd rather
Right.
make a motion to deny the original plan,
That's fine.
just so we're covered on
Why
the
don't we do
45
that
days. I'll make a motion to deny the plan as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
So
Other
352
than that,
has been
say
denied.
It's approved.
He will be submitting a new plan.
Correct, we all
Yeah.
understand that. There's a new
Okay.
plan coming, so.
All right. That clears the septic system. And now we have let's see, Mr. Souza's here.
So from my standpoint, I can tell you,
We'll give you a big update.
yeah,
I'd like to know if I can say something too, please.
Yep. We'll-
I've had, our new building commissioner has come in. It seems as though he's been handed this from the selectmen, as he's been handed an awful lot of other ongoing issues. And we've had the discussion about it. He's begun his investigation. That's the best that I can say at this point, but him having a conversation to me, he feels, that he has the feeling at this point that, yeah, there is definitely something of a business, some sort of business being operated over there. You know, he's still in the process of doing the investigation, as I understand it.
He's got his hands full.
You know, in order to actually make that certification, where ultimately if we wind up in court or have to deal with court in any kind of way, that is gonna be absolute, is the way. So as you guys had originally started out, you asked the selectmen to make a determination. This is where we have to go first to make that determination. Then that side shut down, then the next side will be us in the event that he decides to start this full-fledged operation again.
So basically, we're waiting for a determination from
The selectmen.
zoning board of appeals and the selectmen,
Mhm.
okay?
As you guys requested.
Zoning
Zoning
enforcement officer.
enforcement officer, I'm sorry. And as far as it being a nuisance, when it does happen again, I mean, the Board of Health will step in again.
Yep.
But right now, we're waiting to get an answer from the selectmen.
Can I say something, please?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. So on December 6th meeting, everyone on record said that it's a nuisance. For 6 months, Joe stated to me that it was a nuisance every time I went into that office. The bylaw noise, sound of sufficient intensity and/or duration to cause a nuisance by injurious or on the basis of current information potentially injurious to human health or unreasonable interference with the comfortable enjoyment of life and property. Now, the town charter clearly states no bylaw can be waived by anyone. I am asking this board to please send a letter of a nuisance so this guy cannot do it again. It's just saying you cannot cut wood in a nuisance manner anymore. That's all I'm asking. And I can't believe that this board is trying to keep pushing it to the building department when the building department, Andy talked to me directly, says he don't think he can ever prove it's a business. He has no money, he has no receipts, he has nothing to really prove it's a business. But I do know that on December 6th, everyone on the board said it's a nuisance. And all I'm asking for is for this guy to get a letter stating that. I don't think I'm asking a lot. I went through it for 5 years. This year, on May 16th, I was in the office with Joe. Went all the way to October 8th, when the nuisance could have started at any time, I believe, if I read this correctly.
When those complaints came in, you...
Yes, that was at the same time we were working through the problem of what it was and what was going on and trying to figure out if this guy was actually, if Mr. Perry was actually cutting wood for himself, because he was talking about that. Was it a nuisance? Yeah, we sent out a letter then. Was it a business? Yeah, the way that the building commissioner looked at it at the beginning, it was. Then they came back in, the neighbors came in and talked to the building commissioner at the time and turned around and said, I'm just cutting wood for myself. I'm not cutting myself and my neighbors. I'm not running a business out of there. So it became this go back and forth about what was going on and trying not to take away this guy's rights. Unfortunately, it ended up creating a problem with Mr. Souza, which, like Mr. Souza says, he's been going through this for the last 5 years, although brought to our attention now. Now, based on the information that Mr. Souza gave us, we're trying to systematically, which I've already talked to Mr. Souza about too, systematically make sure that the town covers all its bases. Ultimately, when it makes the decision to tell Mr. Perry that he can no longer cut wood on his property, and if this winds up in court, that we've covered all our bases. And
No one's ever said that he can no longer cut wood. He can't do it in a nuisance manner. We all burn wood in Acushnet, let's face it, we all do. There's a lot of us. So I'm not asking this guy never to start a chainsaw again, but you can do it without a nuisance manner. There is no reason to do it every single day, every Saturday, every Sunday, every holiday.
So that's where it comes, that's why we're trying to find out whether he's running a business or not. Because there's no reason, like you're saying, there's no reason for him to be doing it that much. And
Well,
nobody needs that much wood for their own property. So
And I agree, but
burned
I know
wood
that
for 40
Dave
years.
said
I've
on
never-
December
excuse me,
6th.
I've
Okay.
burned wood
Oh.
for 40 years, and nobody needs that much wood to heat their home.
Correct.
You got 17 cords of wood, what are you
But
doing?
the building department said
Apparently
they
you're
might not be
selling.
able to make it a business because there's no
Well,
transactions
so
of
right
receipts
now,
or
we're in the
anything.
middle
It's not
of it.
zoned out there.
Hold on. Right now, we're in the middle of just getting a new building inspector in place who's part-time, who just got a lot of things shoved down there all together. So his hands are full, and he's definitely making an effort to figure out what's going on there. So I think between them and the selectmen, and I'm sure you probably spoke with the selectmen, they're probably waiting for him to make to give them an answer, to make a decision. I don't know, but we don't run that department.
I understand that.
So, right now, is he cutting wood now?
No, he is not.
Okay, so he usually starts this up when it gets a little bit.
Right around May.
Right.
So if he don't do it in May, then this guy gets no letters, no nothing. It just goes away.
No. So
I know that Dave said on December 6th, and I quote his words, he didn't care if it was a business. We can send a nuisance letter to this man. Am I right, Dave? That's exactly what you said. And that's what I'm asking this department to do, is handle the nuisance end. And that's all I'm asking.
I would prefer, though, if we can get a determination from the building inspector that he's, in his opinion, running an illegal business. It would buttress and solidify us then sending him a nuisance on top of, we have evidence, we have something from the zoning enforcement officer that says he's out of line in what he's trying to do there, and that we find it's a nuisance, and he shall cease and desist, or he
That's-
will be fined.
Because
That's
if you
where I want to go.
put it all together, it just makes it much stronger in case you end up in court. The other thing is I'm anticipating that Mr. Barbola will have an answer for the selectmen shortly. So, that's what we'd like to see in front of us. If they can make a determination, we already know that it was a nuisance. We know that. And if it starts up again, we're gonna go back and address that. But I think together with the selectmen, Mr. Barbola, the Board of Health, I think we can make it work if we put it all together. That's what I wanna wait for. I mean, I understand that it's a nuisance and we can't write a letter of nuisance, but if you put it all together, it just gives you much more strength to make that, to make it work.
I went out there on a request.
I have a hard time hearing, Bob, I'm sorry.
I went out there on a request to
Yeah.
check out that property. I told you about it. I went out there and I checked. He had a lot of wood behind his house, seasoned, old. I told him, you're gonna have to stop cutting your wood. When you got all that wood eaten up in the house that you burnt, and if you need more, you can cut it later on. But I don't want you out there Saturday, Sundays, and every night of the week. He says, I have no problem with that. So that was months ago that I went out there and I checked it, and I told him, I said, if you're gonna do anything, go in the furthest side of your property, way down the other end. I guess, what's that guy's name? North of him.
Bob Coughlin.
Yeah. I says, let him cut his wood out in this place. Don't do favors for your neighbors and get yourself into trouble. Let Bob cut his own stuff.
Well, last year Harry said he couldn't move it any further because of the wetlands.
Well, that's his problem. I told him, wait till the ground freezes.
It was my problem
Freezes,
this
bring it
year.
back down. You know, this is exactly what I told him. And he agreed upon it. So I don't think he's cut ever since
Nope,
that I was there, and that was a while back already I went.
you don't cut in the winter.
So like I told him, use what you got. Don't be cutting tons and tons of wood, and just leave it sit. Use what you got.
Just for the record, just so that you know, Jim, that we are definitely, following a procedure here. We wanted to, that's what we discussed, we did talk about it, and we did want to push it, over to the selectmen and find out if it's a business. And if that's the case, then
He's stuck.
he's
Well-
not gonna be cutting any wood.
Like I said,
And if he wants to cut wood, then we go after him with the nuisance, and we tell him he can't cut it over there. Put it in the back. There's no sense in having it right on the line. I agree with you 100%. But we have to follow protocol, and we have to, we have a system, and I think the system that we're following is the one that's correct. It's the one that we decided to do. And we will definitely stay on, like I told Joe, in fact, I spoke with Joe about it today. I said, if it becomes a nuisance again, if it's right now, we go right down and we'll do it. We'll take care of it. So we're definitely on your side, but
Yep.
we
Is
need
there
to
gonna be a
follow.
letter for the past, though? Saying that
We
you
have
can't do it
everything
like
on
that?
file from the past, so we know what's gone on. All of that stuff, we'll get together with, with the selectmen and the building inspector, and then we'll make that decision together, I think is better. Don't you?
I do. It's just a systematic way of doing things. We also have time on our hands because we are in the winter time. We know he's not going to light it up if he does until May. I would hope that he's been watching the meetings because I'm on record. I told you myself, I'll make a motion to fine the man on a daily basis if he decides he's going to make you live like that. That's just not right. I think the guy has to have some courtesy as a neighbor, and as far as I'm concerned, it's, we'll do what we can, but to rush and issue a cease and desist at the moment, I don't think is the right prudent thing to do. Let us get something from the building inspector. I'm not saying that even if we don't, we won't do something. I would prefer to get something from him before we move to that next level, which is a stern cease and desist from your
I mean, I
activity.
want you guys to see what I went through. And
We
how
did.
many
Oh, I saw it. It's in
USBs
my
did I give
head.
you, Joe? 4, 5?
No, we saw it.
Where-
I
No,
agree.
I
I agree with you.
I was probably in that Board of Health probably
It's not-
100 times, and it went all summer.
I know you
Not
probably
once
feel
did it
like
get
it's
stopped.
not, like we're not doing anything, but we definitely are. And we definitely pushed it to the next level. So when we get an answer from them, which should be shortly, I'm sure we can put a little more pressure on the selectmen to get an answer from them. I know Mr. Barbola just came in, and he does a great job.
He's got a lot of experience.
He's got a lot of, right, yeah, he has some serious experience from Mattapoisett, Matt. I mean, he's a smart building inspector, he does make the right decisions. And I just think it's just a matter of time, and it's not gonna be long. It may be a couple of weeks. I'm sure he'll have some kind of decision, shortly. So as soon as we get that, and we can put this all together, I think it's just gonna give us all a little more strength, between the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Health to make a decision in what we're gonna do with him. Okay? Thanks, Jim.
No, thank you.
Can I get a motion to put that?
Motion to keep it on the
Keep it on
agenda
the agenda, yes.
until we get to the end.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll stay on the...
We got any minutes here, Wanda?
Yes. There's the budget and the minutes.
All right, so right now we need to, Mr. Correa and Mr. Maderas attended the meeting, Finance Committee meeting,
Oh.
and you want to explain that?
Yep, we attended the Finance Committee meeting. We went through the request that had been made from the town administrator to do 3 different scenarios on our budget. One of them, and we had talked about this a little bit before, but one of them was a level funded budget. One of them was a 1% increase to our expenses. and one of them was a 5% decrease to our expenses. Contractual amounts were, added into the budget in regards to salaries. But other than that, like I said, when we were discussing it with the Finance Committee, I basically said, we don't need the 1% on our expenses, it's so minor.
They were basically okay with our budget.
Yeah, and then the 5% would have came out of the nurses.
Yeah, that's only gonna hurt.
Well, the town administrator came up and told Joe and I that the selectmen's get a review it and have them pass it.
Well, we're gonna, I just wanna entertain a motion to submit the budget level funded, period.
That's it.
They can do whatever they gotta
It was submitted and Finance
So
Committee
moved.
had no problem with it.
Okay.
I made the motion.
do. Second. All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
So voted. Joe, you can send that over to Mr. Kelly. Thank you. All right, I don't see any other discussion.
Do we have minutes to approve?
Yep,
I asked you.
December 6th.
Did I
Just
look
one?
at them?
Yeah, they was previously approved, but we didn't have a board. We didn't have.
Oh, okay.
I don't think, someone wasn't here.
I don't know. I wasn't at the two meetings because I had to recuse myself
Yeah.
because of the
That's right.
situation with Millicent.
That's right.
So, let's make it
Play
official. We'll motion to approve the minutes of December 6, 2022. I made a motion to approve the minutes.
Oh, okay, yeah. Second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
So voted. And then next meeting,
Can't see too good, and I can't hear too good anymore, David. You get
It's a
there
bad
someday.
combination.
You get there someday.
I know I will.
seeing no further. Anything
March,
else?
wait,
Oh, next
14.
meeting.
No bills, Wanda?
21st?
Yep, they're in the folder.
What do you got?
One bill,
The nursing?
yes.
What do you got for,
I got 14th, 21st,
You go. Dave.
28th.
don't we go to the 21st?
Yeah, I like that.
What do you think?
What is it?
21st, March 21st for the next meeting.
By the email.
Yep.
Hopefully we can have
We gotta sign the plans, so.
We're just working on it, it's just been under a lot of stuff going on.
Motion to adjourn?
Gotta sign.
You know, that March 21st, I don't know. I think I have an appointment in Boston.
Motion to adjourn.
Yes, second.
So.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
So voted. We're now adjourned. Have a nice day.